Open world games have transformed how we experience virtual landscapes, shifting from linear levels to fast environments that invite freedom, discovery, and immersion. On PlayStation 5, this evolution has only accelerated with richer detail, more reactive worlds, and seamless exploration that makes every journey feel alive. From the dense neon-lit streets of Night City to the untamed wilderness of the lands between, each game on this list has received a native PS5 release, an upgrade, or significant updates to take advantage of the hardware, whether that's smoother frame rates, faster load times, or enhanced visuals. They've never looked or played better. Here, today, are 20 of the best open world games that shine on PlayStation 5. If you enjoyed the video today, do us a favour, subscribe, helps out the channel a huge amount, and let's get into it. Assassin's Creed Valhalla takes the series deep into the Viking era, placing you in the boots of Eivor, a Norse warrior leading their clan to settle in England. Combat is heavier and more brutal than past entries, with dual-wielding axes, throwing weapons, and brutal finishers, making every battle feel epic. Stealth once was central to Assassin's Creed, but it now plays a secondary role, replaced by large-scale raids where you lead warriors into battle, burn villages, and conquer strongholds. The RPG mechanics then have been refined. Gear is no longer disposable. Instead, it feels like an extension of Eivor's journey. Every weapon and upgrade carries weight, reinforcing that this isn't just about conquest, it's about survival. But Valhalla's world is what truly defines it. England isn't just a backdrop. It is a land in turmoil, divided between Saxons clinging to their kingdoms and Viking invaders carving out a future. Past entries cluttered maps with icons. Valhalla strips things back, encouraging exploration through mysteries and world events rather than overwhelming checklists. Each kingdom feels distinct as well. Fog-choked marshes of East Anglia, Mercia's rolling hills, Wessex imposing fortresses, each marked by war and uncertainty. Rivers as well, once just another means of travel, become Viking highways, tempting you to raid and reshape the land. And while England can be conquered, it cannot be tamed. Ride through the countryside and you'll find ruined villages, abandoned strongholds, and the slow spread of Viking influence. It's a land in flux, its fate uncertain, its people caught between resistance and inevitability. Assassin's Creed Valhalla doesn't just let you relive history, it hands you the tools to rewrite it, one bloody conquest at a time. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora doesn't just recreate the lush alien landscapes of James Cameron's films, it lets you live in them. Playing as a Na'vi warrior raised by humans but now reclaiming your lost heritage, you step into a world as breathtaking as it is hostile. First-person combat here blends traditional Na'vi weaponry, think bows, spears, and slingshots, with the raw firepower of human firearms, creating a striking contrast between instinct and technology. Movement then feels second nature, with seamless sprinting through dense jungles, scaling cliffs, and diving through foliage. But the real magic for me comes when you take to the skies. The Ikran isn't just a mount, it's an extension of the player, offering vertical freedom that few open world games attempt. Soaring above the forests, diving between waterfalls, and gliding through floating mountains makes traversal more than a means to an end. It feels like a reward in itself. And Pandora feels alive in ways most open world games struggle to achieve. Bioluminescent flora reacts to your presence, rivers teem with alien wildlife, and the skies are never truly empty. It's a world that resists domination, designed not for the player's convenience, but as an ecosystem to understand and survive. Unlike many open world games that drown players in icons, Frontiers of Pandora leans into organic discovery. Dense jungles, hidden caves, and ancient Na'vi ruins aren't marked on a map, they're waiting to be uncovered naturally. But even then, in this untamed wilderness, the RDA looms large. These human invaders carve through the land with steel and fire, forcing players into battle, not just to survive, but to reclaim what was lost. The world itself then is dynamic. Clear an enemy outpost, and nature slowly takes it back, proving Pandora is more than just a setting, it's a reactive force. So where most open world games center around conquest, Frontiers of Pandora is about resistance. You aren't just charting a map, you're fighting to keep it untouched. Cyberpunk 2077 doesn't just drop you into Night City, it swallows you whole. This is an open world unlike any other, not a fast countryside or war-torn kingdom, but a hyper-dense, neon-drenched labyrinth of corruption, ambition, and excess. Now, as Fee, a mercenary clawing their way up the city's brutal social ladder, every interaction, every job, every street fight, every conversation, it's another step towards power or destruction. The combat is just as fluid as the city itself, allowing for a mix of gunplay, hacking, and cybernetic augmentations that cater to any playstyle, and then things like parkouring across rooftops, hijacking security systems mid-firefight, or slowing time for a precise headshot, they all become second nature. And with the Phantom Liberty DLC, these systems have been overhauled. AI is sharper, cyberware is more tactical, and the city reacts more believably than ever. But Night City itself is Cyberpunk 2077's real achievement. Where most open worlds emphasize scale, this one thrives on verticality, density, and detail. Skyscrapers loom over trash-strewn alleys, seedy motels sit next to corporate fortresses, and the streets pulse with an energy that feels unscripted. There's no empty space. Every neon sign, every back alley ripperdoc, every club doorway just invites curiosity. Exploration, it isn't methodical. It's fast, chaotic, and unpredictable. A casual drive here can spiral into a police chase, a backstreet deal might lead to a high-stakes gig, and a corporate suit could offer you a job that changes just about everything. At launch, Cyberpunk 2077 was a mess, a world brimming with promise but buried under bugs and broken systems. But over time, CD Projekt Red rebuilt it into something truly special, and with years of updates, reworked mechanics, and the Phantom Liberty expansion, Night City is finally what it was meant to be, a masterpiece of immersive world design. It doesn't just react to the player, it thrives on its own. In this city, power is fleeting, choices have weight, and no one, not even you, is truly in control. Death Stranding Director's Cut isn't just an open world, it is an endurance test, a meditation on isolation, and a journey where the landscape itself is your greatest adversary. Now, as Sam Porter Bridges, a courier tasked with reconnecting a fractured America, survival isn't about firepower, it's about planning, precision, and perseverance. Every step here matters. Rocky slopes threaten to send you tumbling, rivers push against your cargo's weight, and mud thickens underfoot as rain turns the world against you. Unlike most open world games that emphasize speed and combat, Death Stranding is about the struggle of movement itself, making every successful delivery feel like an achievement. Then the director's cut refined the experience with new tools, a cargo catapult, jump ramps, and expanded combat options, but the core remains the same. This world, it isn't designed for convenience. It resists, pushing back against the player at every turn. Yet despite its desolation, it never feels empty. Structures left behind by other players, ladders spanning cliffs, bridges crossing deadly currents, even simple signs offering encouragement, they transform the journey into a shared experience, and this asynchronous multiplayer system fosters a unique connection where small acts of kindness linger for that next traveller. Then there are the BTs, ghostly remnants of the dead that turn exploration into a slow, just breath-holding ordeal. Now, the combat in this game, it is rare but deliberate. It's more about evasion than aggression until you're forced into encounters with things far beyond your understanding. And then there's the weather too, the rain, known as timefall. Ages everything it touches, erodes away structures, it reshapes the land, and it serves as a constant reminder that nature itself here, in this time and place, it's reclaiming what was lost. So yeah, Death Stranding is an open world where the landscape isn't just a backdrop. It is, in my opinion, the main character. Every delivery is a battle against the elements. Every connection made is hard-earned. And every journey, no matter how small, feels like an absolute triumph. Dragon's Dogma 2 doesn't just give you an open world, it gives you a world that pushes back. Now, unlike most RPGs where enemies patiently wait at roadblocks, this land exists with or without you. Bandits ambush unsuspecting travellers, monsters don't scale to your level, and even a simple journey can spiral into disaster if you are unprepared. It's a world that feels indifferent to your survival, and that's exactly what makes it feel so alive. The combat then is weighty and unpredictable, defined by climbing towering structures, exploiting enemy weaknesses, and switching between vocations that drastically change your playstyle. The battles, they're not just about raw strength but adaptation. Your fighter might struggle against an airborne griffin, but a well-placed spell or an archer's precision can bring it crashing to the ground. The pawn system then returns, letting players recruit AI-controlled companions who learn from experience, both their own and those of others in the community. Your pawn, might return from another player's world with knowledge of hidden loot or a boss's weak spot, turning every encounter into a mix of skill, strategy, and shared knowledge. But it is the open world itself that defines Dragon's Dogma 2. And like RPGs filled with quest markers and guided exploration, this world demands trust in your instincts. There's no hand-holding. Villagers offer vague directions instead of glowing trails. Roads are definitely safer, but still treacherous. And venturing into the wilderness, it's always a risk in this one. Fast travel then is limited, making every journey a test of preparation and endurance. And nightfall brings genuine danger as monsters grow more aggressive and visibility plummets, making even familiar paths feel uncertain. So this world is basically immense, not just in geography, but in its encounters. A cyclops towering over a mountain path, a dragon swooping down to destroy a caravan, a pack of wolves stalking just beyond the torchlight. Every moment carries the feeling that something could go just horribly, beautifully wrong. Where many open world games focus on convenience, Dragon's Dogma 2 thrives on challenge, unpredictability, and discovery. It's not about following a checklist, it's about surviving, improvising, and carving your own path through a world that, definitely refuses to bow to you. Dying Light 2 turns its open world into something few games achieve, a place where movement isn't just a mechanic but a survival instinct. Now it's set in a decaying city. Rooftops are sanctuaries, while the streets below are a graveyard for the reckless. Parkour is king here. Wall runs, vaults, and well-timed jumps keep you above the chaos, while a paraglider lets you chain momentum between buildings, making traversal feel fluid, but, to be honest, it's also essential. When things go wrong, the combat is brutal. Melee weapons splinter against flesh, dropkicks send enemies flying, and when overwhelmed, running is often the smartest option. But Dying Light 2's true magic comes at night. While many open world games use a day-night cycle as, a visual shift, here it changes everything. By day, the infected, they lurk in dark interiors, making that street-level exploration relatively safe. Well, that is, if you can avoid human factions that are also battling for control. But when the sun sets, this city transforms. The dead spill into the streets, moving with incredible speed, while rooftops become the only refuge. The volatiles, apex predators of the infected, they stalk the darkness, turning a simple misstep into a desperate chase. A single mistake here can mean the difference between safety and being swarmed. Dying Light 2 then really thrives on player-driven discovery and player choice. The city here, it's divided into districts controlled by rival factions, and your choices will shape its future. If you align with one group and their influence spreads, outposts will change, access to resources shifts, and the world reflects your allegiances. There's really no right or wrong path, only the consequences of your decisions written across the skyline in reclaimed strongholds or abandoned ruins. So where most open world games promise freedom, Dying Light 2 delivers it through momentum, the feeling that if you just keep moving, if you never stop, you might just survive and you might just see this world change. Elden Ring doesn't just give you an open world, it gives you a world that doesn't care if you survive. From the moment you step into the lands between, you are small, fragile, and outmatched. There are no glowing quest markers, no hand-holding, just a vast, broken realm of towering ruins, crumbling castles, and creatures that will kill you without hesitation. Exploration in this world, it's a risk and a reward, with every discovery feeling earned rather than handed to you. And unlike most RPGs that funnel players towards objectives, Elden Ring refuses to dictate the journey. You might stumble upon an ancient catacomb hidden beneath a lake, only to realize too late that you've awakened something best left undisturbed. A ruined church might seem abandoned until a spectral assassin emerges from the shadows. A distant castle may hold the key to your next step, but reaching it means braving a battlefield littered with the corpses of those who tried before you. This world isn't just massive, it's layered with history and mystery, rewarding the bold and the curious. The combat then, of course, this is a Souls-like. It's deliberate and it's punishing. It's rewarding patience and skill over reckless aggression. Every weapon, spell and dodge roll carries weight, and with From Software's signature challenge pressing down on every encounter, this one is absolutely gonna push you. The addition of Torrent then, your spectral steed, transforms traversal. It adds speed, but it also turns fast open fields into potential playgrounds. Mounted combat here, great fun. Imagine jousting with a dragon or taking on towering knights or simply bypassing horrors best left alone. And then there's the verticality. The lands between doesn't just stretch outwards, they rise into the clouds and plunge into the depths. Hidden cities lie buried beneath the surface, while cloud-piercing peaks hold secrets the ground cannot. It is a world that feels ancient, layered with forgotten histories and cryptic lore, where every ruin, statue and crypt whispers of a past the game will, quite frankly, never fully explain. So Elden Ring doesn't just challenge you, it dares you to find your own way, embracing the unknown in a world that feels like it existed long before you arrived, and it will still exist long after you leave. Fallout 4 drops you into the aftermath of nuclear annihilation, but its world isn't just a wasteland, it's a battle between the remnants of the past and the brutal reality of survival. Now, as a solo survivor, you emerge from the Fault into a Boston reshaped by war, where skyscrapers crumble, rusted ruins sprawl, and makeshift settlements cling to life. The raiders are already scavenging, factions are already scheming, and the wasteland's dangers, they are, of course, relentless. Now, combat here is faster and more responsive than in past Fallout games, with real-time shooting that feels impactful. The FATs now slowing time instead of pausing it. It turns every gunfight into a blend of strategy and reflex. The character progression then is equally flexible, letting you become a power-armoured juggernaut, a sneaky sniper, or a smooth-talking manipulator. The settlement building then takes scavenging beyond simple looting, allowing you to construct homes, defences, even entire communities, making rebuilding just as important here as surviving. But what sets Fallout 4 apart is how its world reacts to you. Major factions like the Brotherhood of Steel or the Institute, they shape the Commonwealth based on your choices, while smaller interactions have consequences that ripple through the game. A town might thrive or collapse because of a side quest, for example. A character's fate could alter future encounters in unexpected ways. Unlike sprawling yet empty sandboxes, Fallout 4's wasteland is dense, with stories waiting to be found. A skeleton clutching a faded photograph hints at a tragic past. A broken down robot holds a key to a long forgotten mission. The world doesn't just provide quests, it invites you to piece together its history, rewarding curiosity and exploration. So yeah, the Commonwealth may be ruined, but it's still evolving, still waiting for someone to shape its future, or possibly even consumed by it. Ghost of Tsushima isn't just an open world, it is a poetic battlefield where honor and violence exist side by side. Now, set during the Mongol invasion of 1274, you play as Jin Sakai, a samurai torn between tradition and the brutal realities of war. Combat is precise and deliberate, a dance of steel where every strike carries weight. Standoffs let you dispatch enemies in a single decisive blow, while the deep stance system forces you to adapt, countering different enemy types. But as Jin embraces the path of the ghost, stealth becomes just as vital, turning shadows, fear, and deception into weapons. Now, Tsushima itself is a world guided by nature rather than cluttered with UI markers. The wind directs you to objectives, foxes lead you to shrines, and golden birds point toward hidden secrets. Every step here feels organic, uncovering the island's beauty and devastation without checklist-driven design. Seasons shift, storms they roll in before major battles, and fields of red leaves swirl as swords clash, making every single moment, whether exploration or combat, cinematic. What truly sets Ghost of Tsushima apart is how this world then evolves alongside Jin's actions. Liberate a village, its people return. Strike fear into the Mongols, and they adjust their tactics to counter you. The war isn't confined to cutscenes, it unfolds dynamically as you push back against these invaders. And yet, for all of the chaos, moments of peace remain, composing a quiet haiku by a river, engaging in a sunset duel, or simply riding through golden fields. Ghost of Tsushima doesn't just give you an open world to explore, it immerses you in a warrior's journey where every decision carries weight and every battle has meaning. Grand Theft Auto 5 isn't just an open world, it is a living, breathing ecosystem of crime, chaos and satire. Now, Los Santos is more than a city, it's a dynamic playground where high-speed chases, shootouts and heists collide with sun-soaked beaches, traffic jams and the absurd excess of American culture. Now, unlike most open worlds where NPCs exist as background noise, GTA 5 fills its streets with life. Pedestrians argue, police react dynamically, and random events spiral into unpredictable chaos. The game's free protagonist system then makes exploration feel even more immersive. Switching between Michael, Franklin and Trevor, it offers different perspectives and creates the illusion that the world moves even when you're not there. One moment Michael is mid-argument with his family, Franklin might be tuning his car, and Trevor, well, that's Trevor, could be waking up on a beach in his underwear after a bender. Very kind of, I guess, typical for that character. The gameplay then isn't lazy either. Driving is tight and responsive, whether you're weaving through downtown in a stolen supercar or kicking up dust on a dirt bike in the hills. The gunplay is snappy and cinematic. It often turns firefights into explosive Michael Mann-inspired action sequences. And then there are the heists, meticulously planned multi-stage missions that make you feel like you're orchestrating something massive, from assembling a crew to choosing that getaway strategy. But GTA 5 is more than just its single-player campaign. GTA Online turns this world into a persistent, ever-evolving sandbox where players create their own stories. One moment you're running an underground criminal empire, the next you're racing jetpacks across the skyline or pulling off a fully scripted casino heist with friends. Regular updates keep this world fresh, ensuring there's always something new to experience. That's the reason it's been going now for near 10 years. Few open worlds basically offer this level of detail, unpredictability, or, well, yeah, sheer variety. So whether you're committing crimes, causing mayhem, or simply watching this city go about its day, GTA 5 ensures that Los Santos never stands still. Horizon Forbidden West builds on its predecessor, expanding its world with richer ecosystems, towering machines, and new traversal mechanics that make exploration smoother and more dynamic. Our players once again step into the role of Aloha, a hunter navigating a post-apocalyptic world where remnants of the old civilization, they're buried now beneath lush landscapes. Combat refines the mix of precise ranged attacks, elemental tactics, and fast-paced melee encounters, meaning it's going to require careful planning against aggressive machines. New tools then, like the pullcaster for climbing or the shield wing for gliding, these expand traversal, while the ability to override and ride machines remains key to navigating what is a massive terrain. RPG elements are deeper, with skill trees allowing players to shape their character's abilities, whether as a stealthy hunter, a heavy-hitting warrior, or even a trap-focused strategist. The world itself then, one of the most breathtakingly realised on PlayStation 5, from the rusting ruins of San Francisco to fog-covered swamps and sun-scorched deserts, each biome feels distinct and alive. Rather than relying on overwhelming UI markers then, Forbidden West encourages exploration through visual and environmental cues. Machine herds follow realistic patterns, predators stalk their prey, and settlements, they react to your presence. Underwater exploration adds a new layer, revealing hidden ruins and mechanical threats beneath the surface, and with dynamic weather, detailed animations, and just this feeling that this has been handcrafted. Yeah, it's an open world adventure that rewards curiosity at every turn. Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2 expands on the original with a world twice the size, featuring 2 vast, historically accurate regions filled with dense forests, bustling towns, and war-torn landscapes. Now this, it's set in 15th century Bohemia. Players once again take on the role of Henry, a blacksmith's son, and you're navigating the dangers of a kingdom in turmoil. Now, unlike traditional RPGs where heroes start as seasoned warriors, Kingdom Come forces players to earn every skill. Swordplay, it's methodical, it's demanding. Survival mechanics like eating and maintaining armor, they matter. And every single conversation carries weight, with bribery, persuasion, and reputation shaping these interactions. Now the world itself then spans roughly 12 square miles, with increased density and detail, especially in its later regions. The city of Kuttenberg, 10 times larger than Matei, it stands as a series' biggest settlement yet, a thriving hub of merchants, nobles, and political intrigue. Castles, villages, and battlefields are meticulously reconstructed with historical accuracy, and yeah, this just makes this world feel more like a living, breathing medieval society than a traditional fantasy setting. If anything, actually, I'd consider this game basically medieval the simulator. Then, rather than guiding players with glowing markers, kind of a common theme actually in today's video, Deliverance 2 embraces organic discovery, unscripted encounters, whether that's stumbling upon a hidden monastery, crossing paths with a wandering knight, or uncovering a feud between rival factions. It just makes exploration here feel more reactive. You kind of stumble onto things rather than be told exactly what to do. There are also other forces at play here. The harsh realities of medieval life, decisions that are carrying consequence. And yeah, overall, this game is going to keep you busy, perhaps one of the biggest on the list today. Expect hundreds of hours of quests, activities, and an incredibly deep main story. This one, I think it challenges players to think, adapt, and fully immerse themselves in its historical setting. You can't just charge in here, swinging your sword about, hoping to survive. I promise you, you won't last more than a few minutes. This is a game where you have to have some patience, and you really need to just embrace the world, the setting, and what it is trying to bring to you. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth expands beyond Camarocho's neon-lit streets, bringing the largest and most ambitious open world in the series to life. For the first time, the Yakuza formula moves outside Japan, introducing the sun-drenched city of Honolulu, a vibrant, bustling space filled with tourists, street performers, and warring factions. Now, despite the change in setting, the game of course retains that signature chaos, depth, and storytelling that has for years now defined the series. Now at its core, like the first Like a Dragon, it is a turn-based RPG, but combat has been refined for faster, more dynamic encounters. Battles now unfold in fully explorable arenas where positioning and the environment play a bigger role than ever. Each party member's job class as well is more expressive, ranging from breakdancing brawlers to shark-wielding warriors, blending absurdity with strategic depth. Beyond the fights then, Infinite Wealth leans even further into what I would call player-driven distractions. You can run a resort in its island management sim, you can race bikes across the city, or dive into these battles, almost Pokemon style, and yeah, that actually spirals into its own adventure. Every corner of this world is packed with bizarre encounters, heartfelt side stories, and activities that feel just as engaging as the main quest. But at the heart of it all is Ichiban Kasuga's story, one of ambition, loyalty, and redemption. Like a Dragon perfectly balances its over-the-top action with emotional storytelling, ensuring that for all of its comedy, it still delivers some of the most memorable moments in the series, and I absolutely adore the location. Lost Judgment sharpens the open world formula of the Yakuza series, trading criminal underworld drama for a gripping detective thriller. Now set across Kamurocho and another location, it follows private investigator Takayuki Yagami as he unravels a conspiracy lurking beneath the city's neon glow. Now unlike Like a Dragon, this game sticks to real-time combat, delivering fast acrobatic fights where Yagami seamlessly shifts between 3 distinct styles. That's Crane for crowd control, Tiger for just raw power, and snake for precise encounters. Exploration though here feels smoother than ever, with parkour, stealth infiltrations, even a skateboard for zipping through the streets. But what truly sets Lost Judgment apart is its depth of interaction. The school stories system transforms side content into a secondary narrative, having Yagami mentor students in activities ranging from robotics to boxing. Meanwhile, side cases serve up the franchise's signature mix of the bizarre and the heartfelt. One moment you're solving a murder, the next you're tracking down a masked vigilante. Where Like a Dragon leans into RPG spectacle, Lost Judgment, it remains grounded, blending cinematic storytelling with a city that's just constantly pulling and pushing you in different directions. Every alley here might hold another secret, and every NPC, they might be a lead. It's a world that never stops moving, and neither does Yagami. No Man's Sky is the ultimate open world experience. It's not just a map, it's an entire universe. Built on procedural generation, it creates billions of planets, each with unique ecosystems, weather, and alien life. You start stranded on an unfamiliar world, scavenging resources to repair your ship before launching into the unknown. From there, the universe is yours to explore, trading, mining, surviving, and just uncovering mysteries hidden amongst the stars. Now at launch, No Man's Sky struggled to match expectations, but years and years of updates transformed it into one of the most expansive and rewarding open world games ever made. Think base building, multiplayer, deep crafting, and fleet management. They have evolved the experience into a fast sci-fi adventure. So yeah, whether you become a trader, bounty hunter, or explorer, the game basically lets you loose. It says carve your own path. Its greatest strength is that as well. It lies in its scale and a sense of discovery. One moment you're dodging pirates in an asteroid belt, the next you're stepping onto a frozen wasteland as an alien sun rises over jagged cliffs. Every planet is an invitation to explore, and the feeling of landing somewhere truly unknown never loses its magic. For all of its technical complexity, No Man's Sky captures something simple, the joy of discovery. And yeah, there's no right way to play, just the thrill of seeing and uncovering what is out there. Sea of Thieves isn't just an open world, it's a shared ocean of chaos, adventure, and betrayal. Unlike most games where the world exists for the player, here it's the players who shape the experience. Every voyage, every distant ship, and every cannon blast comes from another crew, turning the sea into a stage for unpredictable encounters. There's no set path, just you, your ship, your crew, and the unknown. Now, sailing is at the heart of Sea of Thieves. The ship isn't just transport, it's a living part of the adventure, requiring teamwork to steer, adjust sails, and man the cannons. Naval combat is physics-driven, with hulls splintering, decks flooding, and desperate repairs determining whether you stay afloat. But survival as well isn't just about fighting. Storms, cursed islands, even the depths of the sea, they hide dangers and treasures alike. Now, over time, the game has expanded massively, adding factions, telltale story quests, even Pirates of the Caribbean crossovers. And while PvP is ever present, exploration offers just as much reward. Shipwrecks, hidden caves, and treasures all wait to be uncovered. What makes Sea of Thieves truly special though? It's the unpredictability of player interaction. Some crews will form alliances, others betray at the last moment. A simple treasure hunt might spiral into this all-night rivalry, with stolen loot changing hands multiple times. It's a game where every session is a new story, and that is a story written by the players themselves. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim remains the benchmark for open world RPGs, a game that's so deeply ingrained in gaming culture that even over a decade later, it continues to captivate. Set in the frozen province of Skyrim, you play as the Dragonborn, a warrior gifted with powers that has been thrust into a world on the brink of war. Now every path here leads to something unexpected. Ruined temples hide forgotten stories, distant shouts signal dragons in the sky. Even the smallest choice here can ripple across its worlds. Unlike modern RPGs that push players towards a main quest, Skyrim somewhat does the opposite. You can ignore your destiny entirely, forging your own life as a mage buried in spell research. a master thief ruling the underworld, or a wandering mercenary taking odd jobs. The game never forces a single path, allowing players, like many of the good games on this list, to shape their own journey. Its world is dense with history and atmosphere, from the tundras of Whiterun to the peaks of the throat of the world. Every region has its own politics, dangers and stories. NPCs then react to your reaction, bards sing of your deeds, and wandering into the wilderness can lead to anything: a dragon attack, a hidden dungeon, or a chance encounter that turns into a sprawling quest. And with the PS5 upgrade, Skyrim feels smoother and more refined, enhancing its visuals and performance while preserving what made it special in the first place. So yeah, for those who have never stepped into its world, or those looking for an excuse to return, it remains one of gaming's most immersive open world experiences. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 refines everything Insomniac built with its previous games, delivering a faster, more dynamic and reactive open world. This isn't just about swinging through New York, it's about feeling like Spider-Man in a city that never stops moving. Now the traversal, better than ever, with web wings letting you glide across wind tunnels, seamlessly chaining swings, wall runs or mid-air dives. Instantly then switching between Peter Parker and Miles Morales, it keeps the city alive, making every moment feel connected. Combat then is more aggressive and fluid. Peter's symbiote abilities introduce a heavier, more relentless playstyle, while Miles' bioelectric attacks keep him unpredictable. The new parry system and smarter enemy AI ensures no two encounters play out the same way. And meanwhile then, to back all of this, a larger, more detailed New York City, including Brooklyn and Queens, adding variety to missions, from high-speed chases through Manhattan to tense showdowns in suburban streets. But what truly elevates Spider-Man 2 is its world's energy and the spontaneity. Crime, citizen interactions, dynamic events just evolve naturally. The city never feels static. Civilians, they recognize Peter and Miles, reacting differently based on the state of the city. Hidden Easter eggs, environmental storytelling, callbacks to Spider-Man's deep history. It just constantly rewards you going out your way to explore. Yet for all of its improvements, Spider-Man 2 is simply at its best when you're simply moving, whether you're diving off a skyscraper, slingshotting across the skyline, or gliding over the East River at sunset. Traversal itself is the reward. It's an open world that doesn't just invite exploration, it makes every movement absolutely just thrilling. The Pathless strips away open world clutter, focusing on movement, intuitive exploration, and a world that guides you naturally. This is, instead of overwhelming the player with waypoints and checklists, it just encourages navigation by sight and instinct. Now you play as the Hunter, a master archer accompanied by an eagle on a quest to lift a curse from a mythical landscape. The movement is seamless. By shooting scattered talismans, you build momentum, chaining dashes, jumps, and glides in a rhythm that makes traversal feel incredibly just entertaining. There's no need for a mini-map or markers here either. The world itself directs you through wind currents, distant landmarks, and the flight of your eagle companion. Roaming cursed spirits then turn exploration into almost cinematic chases. I won't say combat, but yeah, great fun, and it's blending this open world discovery with these kind of high-speed encounters. It creates this really nice balance, and these are kind of in place of, let's say, traditional boss fights. These moments unfold really naturally. They force you to adapt as you sprint through forests, dodge these different flames, and basically outmaneuver them at every turn. Yet I will say this about the Pathless: it isn't just about speed, it's also about quiet wonder. It's a very meditative games at times. You're perched atop a ruined tower, you're watching golden fields sway in the wind, you're standing at the edge of a canyon with only the sound of your eagle's wings. It's just a moment of, or lots of moments, I guess, of reflection. So yeah, there's no rush, no pressure, just the freedom to lose yourself in the location. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt remains one of the most immersive open worlds ever created, not because of its size, though it is massive, but because every inch just feels alive. Now you're playing as Geralt, a monster hunter, navigating a world on the brink, but you're not just following a quest. You're stepping into a landscape shaped by war, magic, and moral ambiguity. Unlike many open world RPGs and filled with filler content, The Witcher 3 ensures every village, ruin and side quest has depth. A simple contract to kill a wraith might uncover a forgotten murder. A desperate peasant's plea could spiral into a political conspiracy. The world doesn't just exist for the player, it feels as though it's been turning long before you arrived. Decisions basically have weight as well. Where other RPGs reduce choices to basically good and evil, The Witcher 3 really kind of revels in grey areas. Save a village and you may later regret it. Spare a monster and it could either aid you or return with vengeance. The consequences of your actions ripple across the entire game, often surfacing long after the choice was originally made. Visually then as well, this world incredible. The war-torn fields feel bleak and oppressive, streets bustle with merchants and thieves, and the isles stretch towards the horizon, battered by wind and waves. Weather shifts here dynamically. NPCs follow their own routines, and the world evolves basically based on political conflict. With its PS5 upgrade then, The Witcher 3 is more polished than ever, boasting visual enhancements, smoother performance, and smaller refinements that make returning to the continent just as rewarding as that first time. And I've been to this world a lot. So yeah, this isn't just an open world. I think it's one of the most impressive, living, breathing realms on any system ever. And that wraps up our list of 20 incredible open world games on PlayStation 5, so whether you're carving your own path through the lands between, soaring over Pandora, or swinging through the streets of New York, there is no shortage of worlds to get lost in. Now, did we include your favourites today, or is there a hidden gem you think deserves a spot? Let me know in the comments. And if you did enjoy this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Cheers all.